not getting the credit he deserves.
Yeah, totally. I don't think Jamie does get credit he deserves, or what he's done, or what we've done as a team. The ironic thing is, obviously, this fight's exactly 12 months since he fought Napa, so we'll go back to the Napa fight, where Sky, Jim Watt and people on the Sky team had Napa winning comfortably, but when you get home and you sit back and you watch the fight, and it depends how you're scoring it, that's fair enough. We know sound, you've got to watch it without sound, but if you watch the fight back, and if you're going to score Napa hitting Jamie on gloves with all these shots, then that's fine. Napa's did have a good work rate and things. But when you do look back without sound, you can see, obviously, that Jamie was hitting by far the cleanest shots. I mean, the last 3 rounds says it all. He absolutely blitzed the fight. I mean, another round, I think Napa would have got stopped if it were the old 15-round days. It was a great fight anyway, but for Jamie, for such a young age, to get through that, let's remember, it was only 6-week notice we got for the Napa fight, and Jamie was, once again, 3-1 underdog, so it was just a routine win for Napa. Jamie was just a name there, English champion, going just another challenger. Napa had not been beat for 4 years at the time, I think it was, by a British fighter. So I think that fight alone deserves a bit of credit for what Jamie went and done. Come out of nowhere, great win, and then obviously the story sets itself regarding European circuit. Because he beat Napa, obviously it was Napa that were fighting Jerome Arnold 6 weeks later for the European title. Jamie got offered the fight. Myself, Dave and Dennis sat down and talked about it, and we personally at the time, me and Dave thought maybe another fight and then would have took it, but you can't say no to these opportunities. Jamie went there and grabbed it by both hands, and exactly the same. I mean, I've talked about this, I talked about it to friends and family. When we were going over there on that plane, I think them French people thought we were coming over for an holiday. It was totally wrong, they got us all wrong. We were going there for victory, weren't we, Dave? Yeah. We worked solid. We were absolutely solid for 6 weeks. We'd watched Jerome Arnold every other night, me and Dave used to sit up late on a night watching it, thinking how we could beat him, what he was dangerous at, and it was driving us mental what we could and couldn't do. I mean, this kid had fought for a world title against Sidorenko and gave Sidorenko an hard time. Sidorenko at the time won a pound for pound best at that weight. So yeah, we knew we were up against it, and Jamie went there and just totally blitzed at somebody who were world class, who's fought for a world title. And Jamie totally dominated the fight from round 2 to 10 and just totally broke the kids out. I mean, if people get to watch it or watch it on YouTube, it is on there, or on Jamie's website, it's on there. They will see that night made me and Dave realise that potentially Jamie's world class. We had a doubt on that night. 4-1 underdog, going to France, same again, 6 weeks notice, and look what he did. He didn't just win it, he just totally ripped that title away, and then we come home and same again. He don't gets mentioned. He don't get any credit for this Bracco fight. I mean, you only can fight people who in front of you who are a voluntary defence. Bracco was in top 10 in Europe. He was Italian champion.
He had a better knockout percentage.
Better knockout ratio than James.
So this should change all that, because you're fighting a genuinely tough guy and everyone knows he's tough.
Yeah, exactly the same. So hopefully, by touching a bit of wood, come next Saturday night, Jamie's hand's going to get raised once again, and I just hope that people who are boxing fans and boxing public stand up and take notice that Jamie McDonald is a real fighter, and we'll see what we know he's capable of, and then start thinking, let's open his eyes up. It's not just Nathan Cleverly out there and your Kell Brooks at Boxing World who potentially can go on and be world champions for Britain. We've got one sat here in Doncaster, his name's Jamie McDonald.
Jamie, do you feel you've given the credit you deserve, really?
Not really, no. It sort of went under the radar. A massive night in France, you know. We were all buzzing, a great win and that, and you come home and it's really been in big paper. You see all, top prospects in Sun, Star and all that, there's no in big papers, no gets put about. I do what I do. I love coming gym, and, I love getting in ring and fighting, and I don't get as much credit as what I should.
And you're just 22 years old.
24.
You were 22, 23 at the time, weren't you? So he's just 24 now.
Yeah, I'm only 24. There's loads of time, people boxing it for world titles at, around about 30 and that sort of stuff. I've still got plenty of time before I box for the world title. I'm happy just being on European circuit, establishing myself there at European level, and then start notching up wins up, in top 10 top fighters in the world, At the minute, the bantamweight division, it's tough, there's 6 or 7 top fighters, I don't want to be jumping in there. They're all about 30, that sort of age. I don't want to be jumping in there and getting knocked out. I want to be going to these fights, you know, winning and coming home and defending it. I don't want to be going and making numbers up. You know, so we're happy to sitting at European level, you know, probably for another year, you know, 3 fights. You know, I'm happy.
I mean, going back, you're saying learning your trade. Learning your trade at European and level with the right fights. I mean, this Stefan Jamoy, who we've got next, he's actually ranked number 7 by the WBC. You know, he's well travelled, so he's not going to be phased one bit by coming here. He's been to Mexico and been in with good fighters. On his last fight, he travelled to Spain. He travels and wins. He's a real fighter. We've got to get this one out with. It's mandatory. No mandatory is an easy fight. And hopefully, come 22nd, Jamie will show what he's capable of taking, because this kid's a real fighter.
But you've got those early career losses on your record. Yeah,
So-
just
He must be busy.
saying. You've got a couple of early career losses on your record. Do you think that kind of was a beneficial thing in the end?
Yeah, I've learned from them losses, you know. Everyone loses, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of time. It's when you do lose, and as long as you're learning from these losses, and I've learned from you know, if I went in ring with these guys who I've lost now, I'm sure I'd do a number on them, and it'd be a lot easier fight, you know what I mean? But yeah, I've learned from it. I picked myself up. I was down for 6 months, but I've come back stronger, and look at what I've achieved, you know. And hopefully, I'll end up getting a world title fight, but you know, hopefully that'll be in a year.
So I just don't. Can you turn it off?
Didn't quite smash when it hit the floor, Jamie.
I need to back it anyway. I need a new one, don't I? On iPhone.